What is up, guys? We are back today with a Smog Tours replay. This is SPL Week 4. I'm on the opposing side, and my opponent this time is Masterclass. Now, Masterclass is a pretty known battler on Smogon. He's very famous for his play in black and white, though, as opposed to ORAS. He doesn't really play this much from what I've seen, but this week his manager or whatever told him to play, I guess, ORAS, so we got matched up, and yeah, just looking at the teams, he's running a very bulkier team. Looks like some nice balance with a Scarm, what's it called? A Scarm Tran Gastro defensive core, which is very good in black and white, like early black and white. That core was very, very hard to break, so he brought that back here. And I mean, it's harder for fast stuff to work like this because of Hoopa and the fact that Dark is so broken. And like, see, for example, he doesn't have like a Dark resist, but so like if I had like a Hooper or something, it'd be pretty bad for him. But like that's why in general it's hard to make defensive cores without going back to stuff like Scarf Tyranitar to get rid of that kind of thing. Plus with Spike's offense, T-Tar helps that even more because you get rid of Lodies and Starmies, which are the two biggest hazard removal Pokemon. So T-Tar is really, really good on these kind of cores, but I guess he opted against it. His team still looks pretty cool. I realized the Megazam could be a little bit of an issue if he gets up Spikes because Scizor can't come in that many times. But anyway, my team is Life Orb Torrentee, which I knew I wanted to use from the beginning because I had heard this guy uses a lot of fat stuff. SD U-turn Scizor, this is just to get momentum really and bring in Torn. I don't expect this to sweep, and looking at his team, Gastro, Scarm, Heatran, it's not sweeping either. Spexkeld, that's pretty decent versus team. His fighting resist is Alakazam and Scarf Lando T, so yeah, that's a good Pokemon. Colbur Latias, which was, I expect Spikes plus T-Tar. He didn't have the T-Tar, so I'd use this Colbur Latias to get rid of the Spikes one time. Defensive Lando T, I mean, this is the best Pokemon in OU. And then Magma Tran, because just in case he had some annoying cores and that kind of thing, I wanted to trap and get rid of Clef. Actually, no, it's not Magma Tran. I changed it last minute to Spadef Tran. This thing was just backup insurance versus Talon, and it's covers some holes on the team. Like Serp, for example, this thing helped versus Serp because this is Life Orb, so it can't switch in as easily. But anyway, let's just get into it. This was a pretty decently long match, like 50 turns were pretty good too. So he leads off with Lando T, as I lead off with Tornadus T. Not trying to risk a Scarf Stone Edge turn 1, I just go into my own Lando T, as I believe he just U-turns. Him going for the U-turn turn 1 pretty much confirms to me that he's Scarf. He does about 6% and then takes 16 in return from the broken item that is Helmet. I'm just going to go for the knockoff here to gauge what kind of Scarm this is. That damage should have told me he was Fizdef, but I didn't calc it, so at the time I thought it was Spadef. That's going to come into play later. So I go for the rocks here as he goes for second layer Spikes. Spikes, I guess whatever to me. I can outplay it. I just want to get these rocks up. That way he can't bring in his defensive core. And the Scarf Lando, that's the main thing I wanted him going for. He just whirlwinds me out of my Tornadus back into my Lando T. Like, that's whatever to me. I'm just going to U-turn yet again into Scarm, I think. I mean, into my Tornadus on the Scarm, as I think he just goes for a Roost, yeah. Now, here, this play was probably like the biggest misplay of the game, and it's this early on. I go for the Heat Wave. Now, the reason I went for the Heat Wave is because I assumed that maybe, well, I don't know if I assumed, but I was under the impression that he might make the play of just staying in and going for the Roost, predicting Assault Vest Tornadus T. If he's Spadef, what's called Scarm, which at the time I thought he was, which again was bad because the knockoff only did 20. I should have known he was Fizdef. Heat Wave only does around 50% to Spadef Scarm. I thought he would just roost it off, see I'm AV, then make the necessary plays to get around this. And Life Orb, even Life Orb only does 75 to Spadef, so he could roost it off and still be at 75%, which is more than enough HP to still check Lottie, Lando, and Scizor. So that was my mentality. Instead, he goes hard switching to Tran, and like looking back at this, I really should have just hit the superpower. I lost absolutely nothing. His Scarm, as you're gonna see, has taunt, so it has no attacking moves. So I could have been freely able to just destroy this Tran on the switch, get off a free 50%, and that was just like a terrible play. Now here, the reason I don't go for Superpower the next turn is because I feared him just going for the Lava Plume to get a burn just in case he thought I'd be like the AV and just knock it off, because people played pretty brainless with their with their Tran. But I'm playing pretty bad right now. Like, I'm way behind. He's got 3 layers of hazards up. I make the double in the Lottie here, predicting, I don't remember, his own, like I predicted the Gastro or something. Or I don't know what I predicted, but yeah, he goes into Zam instead on the double, and he Shadow Balls me here as I go for the Defog. And like, I'm in a bad position. Now this was the worst. I totally wanted to click Keldeo here. The switch back into Tran to get off rocks was so ridiculously obvious. Because plus I'm either gonna go into Scizor or I'm just gonna sack this. Like, it's such an obvious play. I could not pull the trigger. I don't know what happened, guys. Like, I just played so out of it. That's why this replay, like, I played really poorly, you're gonna see. So I just went right back into my Scizor, and like, now what? Back to step one. He gets up rocks, and I get 63% taken off my Latias. It's not good. Now I go into Keld, because then I remembered, oh wait, what's this guy's resistance to Keld? I go right for the Secret Sword after. Well, he goes for the Protect first to just kind of gauge. Going for the Protect plus rocks makes me very sure that he's probably not Earth Power. More likely he's Lava Plume Toxic. As he goes into Zam now, he has to eat that up, because like we saw, he doesn't really have good fighting resists. He's gonna double out here into Scarm, I assume, predicting my Scizor to come in. Now, he actually goes for the Taunt, I think, with his Scarm. I think he could have gone for Spikes instead. I think that would have been a really, like, just a fine play in general. But I guess, I don't know, he just didn't want me to be setting up or anything like that. So yeah, I go into Tran here. I go for the Earth Power here, predicting either his Tran to come in or his Zam. I really didn't think though, like in the back of my head I knew it was a possibility, but I really didn't think he'd pull the trigger and go right to Zam, because Zam is still really good versus my team. It outspeeds literally every Pokemon because I have no Scarfer. So he, like we saw from the first 16 turns, he plays a very aggressive form of balance. So getting rid of that thing was pretty nice for me, and so I take the first kill of the match. He goes into Lando T here. I'm just gonna go into my own Lando T here, because again, I can't really let that thing die, mainly because my biggest fear of this match isn't even the Zam, it's the Cursed Gastrodon in the back, because I lose to Cursed Gastrodon. Lottie set up on this, set up on this, set up on. Scizor's gonna get burned, and then he has a Tran and a Scarm, HP Fire Serve. I get beat down by EQs, like Scizor's not doing anything. Torn has to hit. I'm pretty sure Gastro isn't 2-hit KO'd by Hurricane. Yeah, like I'm very confident, but if Gastro isn't 2-hit KO'd by Hurricane, so then I have to confuse and hit too, and just not get burned. Like Gastro destroyed me. So my biggest thought here was always keep the Tran alive and get a Toxic off on Gastro. That way I can win. That was my game plan from the back, because I was very sure that even if he went down like 3 to 6 months, he could always bring it back with the Gastrodon. So I had to go into Lando there instead of staying in. I wouldn't have stayed in anyway. Like even if the Gastro wasn't there, it's just not the play to make. I U-turn out of there, and I bring in my Torn T, because I'm like, alright, this thing has no attacking moves. It's time to set it up. It's time to like start doing damage. So I go right for the Superpower, I think, as he goes into Heatran, and that does an okay amount. 62 it's pretty good. Now here, I had HP Ice. I wouldn't have gone for it here. Yeah, I think he makes the double into his Lando, but I wouldn't have gone for the HP Ice no matter what in this play, like in my position I'm in right now. Yeah, so like that Lando T play, that wasn't like risky or anything on his part. Like I thought about it after the game, but like I can never see myself going for the Hurricane or HP Ice there. So my Heatran just takes another 25%, and it's looking bad. Luckily my own Landorus T is just coming in, abusing the stupid Rocky Helmet and getting him lower and lower. He goes into Serp now. I live a Leaf Storm, but I also kind of need my Lando, so I go into Torn as he just goes for the sub. Yeah, he just goes for the sub here, which is like whatever. I go for the Heat Wave. Now I think he goes for Leech. I'm like fairly positive he goes for Leech. No, he subs again. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing with sub. He's just sort of losing HP on Serp. I really didn't understand that double sub play. Unless he predicted a U-turn out into something, then I can understand. But he just goes for the Seeds now, so he takes about 33% off my Torn. Here I go for the dumbest play, which is the Hurricane. That made no sense. Like I understand that I'm trying to hit the Heatran, but it's just gonna recover everything back thanks to Seeds plus Lefties. So like that Hurricane play was so boneheaded. Like it was like the worst play I've ever made. So I'm gonna switch out here and go right back into my Heatran, as I think he literally goes right back into Lando if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so this thing stays getting weakened, and he never clicks the trigger on EQ because of the 3 resists I have. But the fact that rocks are up makes it so that I can't really bring in Torn. Like it's tough. Like he's been outplaying me pretty much the majority of this game, and I have not been making not been pulling the trigger on a single play. He goes into Serp here. I thought about this for a while and thought that he's just gonna go for the Leaf Storm, so I went into my Tran anyway, knowing that I can take 2 thanks to a max HP spread, and the fact that Serp is trash. So yeah, he gets off the 10%, and then I was like, alright, he's probably just gonna go into his Gastro, which means I can get the Suicide Toxic off, but instead he just stays in, and I go for the Lava Plume, and it's not gonna kill because Serp is decently bulky. But I don't get a burn or anything, so there's that. Here, I made a weird play. I wanted to keep this so I could Healing Wish it back up so I get a Toxic off on Gastro. Went to Scizor, take the Leaf Storm, so now it's kind of a 50-50. I'm going to go for the U-turn here, and he's going to HP Fire and kill me. I do stand by my U-turn play still, because he had like 2 very nice switch-ins that take a ton of advantage versus my team. Specifically the Heatran, which literally beats everything now that my Tran would be at 9%. my Lottie would have come in at, I believe, 13 or 14%, which is Lava Plume range. So I stuck by my play. Plus, him sacking this would have made him super, super weak to the Keld. So I stand by my play there. If I was in his position personally, I would have gone into the Heatran or the Scarm. But regardless, I mean, it worked out for him. So like, there's nothing. I'm not like mad about that. It's just that play. I stand by the U-turn regardless. So I'm gonna go into Torn again as he goes into Scarm. I go for the Heat Wave. I just knock that thing out. He has no use for this anymore anyway. Like, it's not like it's beating anything besides Lando, which isn't a threat anyway. He goes into his own Lando. I'm in U-turn range, so I gotta get out of there, and I go into my own Lando again because they call me Rocky Helmet. So he stays taking this helmet damage, and then I believe he goes into Serp again. Here, I'm thinking what I should have done. I believe I'm gonna just sack this. Yeah, I shouldn't have sacked this, but like I said, dude, this whole game was just him playing better than me. So, I'm gonna go into Torn, I think. Yeah, and I believe here I make the double. I predict the Heatran to come in, so I go into Lottie because I'm like, alright, it's time to get this Healing Wish off. But like, he goes into his Tran, right? And I was like, okay, this is fine. He's probably just gonna go for the Lava Plume and kill me, so I'll Healing Wish. But he goes for the Toxic, so that's why I didn't defog. Because I thought he would just, what's it called, kill me off, and then if I don't get the Healing Wish off, then I'm definitely gonna lose to like the Gastrodon, because these two are gonna lose to it. But no, he goes for the Toxic instead, which I think his mentality was that if I do go for the defog, he Toxics, then he gets them back up. At least he gets the rocks back up, which I understand, that's smart on his part, but dang, I should have got the Spike out the way. But regardless, I go into Tran here. And now it's just kind of some stally turns. I start spamming Toxic. I'm just trying to gain back some HP. Plus, if he ever wants to risk the Gastro, it'll be fine. So he keeps going for Protects. Yeah, he lets me get back up to full. I let him get back up pretty high, and then he just sacks it. So he goes into Gastro now. I didn't click Tornadus because that's some real Dawn play. And I didn't go into Keld either because that's another godly play that I just couldn't make. At this point, though, I go into my Keldeo here as Secret Sword. He gets up 32 with the EQ as Secret Sword again. Wait, why am I skipping? My bad. He goes into Serp here. I need like some insane low roll for my Torn to be above 10% so that I can take 2 more Life Orb hits. But unfortunately, Leaf Storm does about 28, so that puts me at 8%. And that is going to be the game because I'm forced to go for the Ice-type move. I go for the HP Ice, knock this thing out, and yeah, then he's going to be able to go into his Landorus T and kill my Keldeo with the Scarf EQ. So he played a lot better than me. I could have pulled the trigger on so many plays, but I played really safely and passively, and he took advantage of that. So great game, Masterclass. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Later, peace.